Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is a Monday. It is a Mandela Monday where we are all asked to go above and beyond, to look within ourselves, to do something for our fellow man. And if you're looking for inspiration this morning, it doesn't come more inspirational than a young man I had the great pleasure of spending a day with. He has an incredible life story. His family are rallying behind him in a way that sets an example for all South Africans, so much so that I'm about to take a big step myself. But first, let's get a bit of background on Robbie's story. Robbie was just a regular kid growing up in sunny KZN. Then a lump was discovered in his groin. The diagnosis, leukemia. Robbie was only 5 years old at the time. He battled the cancer and remission was sweet. However, it lasted only 5 years. I visited the brave young man at his home in Durban. Well, Robbie, great to finally connect and meet you and your family here, canine and all. So now this is the second time around. How are you feeling?
I'm just a little sad that it happened because this was like my greatest year because we were having so much fun. Like all my friends were in my class. I had a good teacher.
Can you remember that moment when your folks had to sit you down to give you the news?
I think they sat me down and just said, the cancer is back. Like I was just lying on the bed and they came and said, and then we all started crying.
Leukemia is a cancer found in the blood and bone marrow. It requires a blood stem cell transplant from a donor who shares the same tissue type. Robbie's parents face the disease with him every minute of every day. Colleen, Mike, how are you feeling? How is the family coping with having to face this challenge for a second time?
It's as terrifying as it was the first time. And this time is different because we're heading towards a transplant. We don't have a donor, and you don't know where you're going to. That is scary. I'm a lot more emotional this time. And yeah, but you just have to take it a day at a time.
You get given these things as challenges in life, and it was a shock to both of us. We didn't, you get to 5 years, you think, right, he's cured. This shouldn't happen to us. And it's come again, and we can probably breed off his strength. He says, damn it, I've got cancer again, but we're going to win, So he's the strong one, and he leads very well.
The family learned the language of leukemia through transfusions, chemo, and other treatments. School days have been replaced by countless hospital stays.
Sometimes I just go in like twice a week for a LASPA injection. It's just a little injection in my muscle in the leg. And then vincristine is like another type that I have here.
That's quite a thing, man. The odds to finding a bone marrow match are 1 in 100,000. But Robbie keeps the faith and believes that the right donor is out there.
It just drives me to get back to my friends and doing everything that I want to do. So like I can swim with my dog, play. I really want it soon because so I can go back to school.
The sad reality is that South Africa only has 65,000 registered bone marrow donors, which means you might be the 1 in 100,000 that can help Robbie or a child just like him. Isn't it time you found out more? Robbie, good morning, son. I hope you were watching. I hope you're going to have a fantastic day. It was awesome meeting you and your family. So much so that I've decided to put myself on the bone marrow registry list. And it exists purely because of one incredible and inspirational woman. It's the professor sitting beside me, Annette Toy. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to it. I'd also like to welcome Kaya, who is going to be drawing my blood and testing me. There is a saying, bone marrow is a cause that is very close to, of course, the professor's heart. Having founded the South African Bone Marrow Registry some 22 years ago. To give us a little bit of background, demystify a process that I think people don't really know enough about. We've invited the professor in to take me through the process, but take us back to the beginning. What led to you taking this bold step in creating this chance for so many, unfortunately, children dealing with leukemia and similar conditions?
Professor Peter Jacobs, who was a hematologist, and myself decided that it was needed. The whole world had started doing stem cell transplants for people with leukemia and other blood disorders who were going to die if they didn't have a stem cell transplant. And I was involved because I was involved with tissue matching even in the days of Chris Barnard.
Wow.
So Peter and I formed the South African Bone Marrow Registry because we knew that to get a donor for a particular patient, you had to search worldwide. And because the chances of finding a right donor is about 1 in 100,000. So even if we had a lot of donors in South Africa, we're never self-sufficient, unfortunately, like the rest of the world. Everybody depends on each other. And there are now 23 million donors worldwide in 67 registries, of which we're one. And of the chances of finding a donor for our particular patient, 1 in 100,000 worldwide, so we have to search worldwide, and we get 75% of our donors from the rest of the world.
About how many donors do we have registered here in South Africa?
In South Africa, we're fortunate to have 65,000 already, and these donors have been registered over the last 22 years. Started off in KwaZulu-Natal with 10,000 there and 10,000 in Johannesburg. Then we had 20,000. Then the Sunflower Fund came forward, and they have now recruited the additional numbers, and we have 65,000 today.
All right, Professor, I'm going to ask you to also help guide me through this process here. Kaya is going to now start the test, and I think this is one of the big misconceptions, is that you've got to go through this massive medical procedure, but it's just as simple as being tested and then obviously sitting, and if you are a match, God willing, then you will sit for how long? What is the process of actually making the donation entail?
Of the actual donation, this is where you will have to prepare yourself, is not awesome, but it is a 4 to 6 hours sitting with both your arms connected to a machine that separates the stem cells from your blood, gives you back all your goodies, all the blood, the platelets, the red cells, and all we steal are the stem cells in a little bag.
Okay, so I think there is this, this image in your mind that you're actually donating your bone marrow, but it's actually a relatively harmless, for someone like me needing to sit still for 6 hours, that can be difficult, but it's a very worthwhile exercise.
Unfortunately, you've got lovely railway line vessels, so it's no problem for you at all. Sitting for 4 to 6 hours, you watch the TV, there are some pretty nurses that come along.
I'll take a leaf out of Robbie's book, play a bit of Lego. I love it. Kaya, okay, tell me, what are you doing here?
Okay, I'm trying to clean first,
cool,
so that there won't be any contamination. I first did put the tourniquet. So
thank you for the cute little animated pictures there. That makes all the difference for me.
Okay, sorry about this.
All right, turn away if you are in any way affected by needles. That didn't hurt at all. See, I'm a fairly regular blood donor, so I'm used to seeing my blood go, but this is literally all it takes.
She's very, very proficient.
Then I have to ask, Professor, people who want to join, I've gone through the process, but from your side, just to make sure that we are completely clear, how do we get ourselves onto the registry, and what are the steps to follow so there is no confusion?
In the first instance, they can go to our website, which is www.sabmr.co.za, and it actually explains very clearly there. The contact people are the Sunflower Fund, who will arrange for the person who wants to become a donor to fill in a form, a request form, which we have designed, and which comes to the South African Bone Marrow Registry once the blood has been taken by PathCare in here, and then sent to the laboratory at PathCare to be tissue typed. Those results come directly to the South African Bone Marrow Registry with the form that is faxed through from the Sunflower Fund, and then that person from that day onwards is on the South African Bone Marrow Registry. You will get a card with all your details on it to tell you that you are a registered donor. And from that time, unfortunately, we don't contact you very often, although we have a newsletter on our website. And for all people who've become donors, we send out the newsletter if they're on email. And it's a waiting game. The chances are 1 in 100,000 that you would ever be called. Some donors get very upset and they phone us and say, I've never been called.
I can understand that. Professor, thank you so much for joining us. That is all it took, just literally a few minutes. I'm so glad I'm now on that process. Robbie, thank you so much for getting me off my butt, getting me inspired to get started. I cannot wait to find out. I can understand why the donors chomp at the bit to find out if they are actually a match. But I've done it. You can do it. It really isn't a hectic process. We'll have all of those details on our website. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies. And I hope this has inspired you on a Monday, a Mandela Monday, to do something special, do something to give back to your community. Who knows? You may even save a life.